So this caddis that I'm going to tie is just a little bit of thread, some hare's ear dubbing for the body, and then of course our elk hair. So I'm using a fluorescent orange thread. This is Danville in 70 denier, and I'm just going to make a little thread body all the way to the back of the bend of the hook here. And I'll cut off my tag. And next, we're going to put the body on. So with hare's ear, again, we want to keep a fairly thin profile body. It doesn't need to be super thick. So a little dubbing goes a long way. And I want to be careful. I can always add more dubbing on, but I'm going to spin just a thin loop, a thin noodle on here. Because with any small flies, this is a size 16 hook, by the way. With any smaller hooks, smaller flies, it's really easy to overdub the body. Okay. Spin another thin noodle on here. Okay. And one more ought to do it. I'm going to dub all the way up towards the front of the hook until I just have about a hook eye's width of exposed thread left on the shank of that hook. And that'll be the tie-in point for our elk wing. All right. That'll work. I'm going to go ahead and clean up some of these stray errant hairs. I like hare's ear for this body because it's super buggy. A traditional elk hair caddis is usually tied with some dry fly hackle, palmered around the body to give it the imitation of legs or whatever. I found that I don't actually need that, and I like to tie up a lot of these, so just skipping that step makes it quite a bit quicker. So when I'm grabbing my elk hair, depending on the size of the fly, will kind of give you an idea of how much elk hair we need, but thickness wise, this is somewhere around the thickness of a not quite a pencil eraser, so it's less than that, but getting your hair volume right is really an art, and it just takes practice. So chances are you will probably start off getting too much hair, and then sometimes you might not grab enough. You'll have a really sparse body. It just takes practice working with hair and getting that feel for exactly how much you need. So inside this, of course, there's these little, these fuzzies. These are the guard hairs that actually provide the insulation. So we're just gonna strip those out. If you don't pull out these guard hairs, when we go to stack this in a hair stacker, the hairs will just stick together and they won't actually align the tips. So I want to get those guard hairs out. Okay, I'll just pull my hair stacker out. Those are nice and aligned. And grab it right by the tips. Okay, you can see there's a couple guard hairs that are still in there, but I was able to line the tips still. So this is the pretty important part as far as measuring up the length of the wing. I want it to be almost exactly the length of the shank of the hook. I do not want it to go too long, Caddis wings tend to line up pretty well with the length of their body. So when I grab these, got to grab them really close. I'm going to make one loose wrap. Let me get a little closer. One loose wrap, two loose wraps, and then that third wrap I'm going to start to tighten it down and make some subsequent tight wraps. This way I can make sure that my hairs stay on top of the shank of the hook. They didn't fall to the left or the right side. And if you get about 9, that should be enough. That looks pretty good. It's lined up, not too bad. I'm going to pull the front, these butt ends, back and then make a few wraps right in front of them. Then from here, I'm going to whip finish. And I'll do one. Since I'm not using any head cement, I like to do 2 whip finishes. It's another perk of having small 70 denier thread. Does not add too much bulk to your head. And we'll go ahead and trim up the head now. So I'm going to pull these butt ends back forward, try to group all of them together here. And I'm going to cut off kind of at a slight slant, little angle. Give it just a little bit of a head. Okay. All right. It's not a bad looking fly there. It's not perfect proportions, but it's pretty close. So that'll fish. I feel good. This is a really confident fly from pretty much this time of the year on through the summer. And again, this is in size 16. The caddis that are coming off right now are probably closer to 18, maybe even some 20s. At first I was mistaking them for mayflies until I saw kind of their wings and how they flutter. When you see caddis flies, they look more like moths as far as the way that they fly. And they have 4 wings instead of 2. So that's a giveaway. But like I said, they're pretty small right now, but they will get up a little bit bigger. 16s and even 14s. It's probably the biggest that I see them in central Colorado here. So let's go fish this. All right, guys. Got my little Elk Hair Caddis on. Pretty clear day today. Not a ton of fish rising that I've seen, so see if we can get it done though. It's been pretty warm these last few days, so the river's up a little bit. We got snow earlier this week, some rain yesterday. Had a little bit of color to it. There it is. Pulling a little bit of drag. Isn't bad. And he came out from the depths for that one. Not a big fish, just a lot of fight. Oh, let's try that again. There we go. All right. It's a healthy little brown. Took that, yep, try that again. There you go. Sometimes they flop. Trying to get them unraveled there. All right. Took that caddis right there. Corner of his mouth. Come on now. There we go. All right, healthy fish. We're gonna make a distance roll cast to the other side. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Oh my goodness. All right, still got my fly. He came up and he went for it and missed it completely. Let's try it again. There it is. Nice. Yeah, the caddis are really starting to come off now. It's just a little guy, but still a really fun eat all the way across the river. Okay. Oh, he's he's like an 8-inch fry. Nothing to him. Okay. So he got a worm in his mouth too. Yeah. All right. Roll, dude. That's the fun thing about caddis is if they do start to sink on you, you can just pretty much strip them underneath the water and they turn into a streaking caddis, and fish will pick them up pretty often that way as well. It's a healthy brown. Come on in, buddy. Forcing this guy a little bit, but all right, there we go. Get him unwound. He took that dude pretty deep. So I'm gonna get my forceps real quick. It wasn't the fastest hook set. That sometimes happens. Okay. I know. Okay. There we go. Forceps are a lifesaver for these fish sometimes, even with barbless flies. It'll be all right. All right, guys, this will be my last spot to try this evening. My whole downstream slowed up after that last fish, so we'll give this stretch a shot. There it is. Well, to pick one up that quickly, it's worth another shot here. So I'll get this guy off quick and go for round 2. All right, fly's already out. Just a small brown, but still fun. Always a blast. Anything on the dry fly, little 4-inch brookies in the creeks, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Dry fly and streamer eats, like, they're just too much fun. Alright guys, well I think that's going to be it for me. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please give it a like and subscribe. I appreciate it.